Sometimes the problem isn't that you're doing too little for your health, it's that you're doing too much without listening. There was a season where I was doing everything right on paper, and yet my body was still saying no. Today's episode is about why that happens, how stress and emotions shape women's health in powerful ways, and what changes when healing becomes relational instead of rigid. If you're ready to explore how awareness, trust, and faith can actually change the healing process, let's dive in. Welcome to Faith Over Pharma, the podcast for women who want a different way to heal. I'm Susan Gladstein, holistic health practitioner and functional nutrition specialist, and here we explore faith-led, holistic approaches to hormones, energy, and symptoms that just keep getting brushed off. If that's you, you're in the right place. If your idea of healing includes jungle air, incredible food that you didn't cook, and days that unfold without an agenda, this might be your sign. This July, I'm hosted the Rooted Reset Retreat in Costa Rica. Think morning coffee while watching monkeys move through the trees, afternoons for massages or exploring waterfalls, and yes, stopping to lock eyes with a sloth because, obviously, it's for women who love being outside and being taken care of. Adventure without chaos, luxury without stiffness, and space to actually exhale. If that sounds like your kind of rest, go snag your spot at rootedresetretreat.com. There's something I've noticed with so many women that I work with, and honestly, I've lived it too. You're doing the right things, you've built a good routine, you're disciplined, you're consistent, and yet your body isn't responding in the way that you expected. Instead of more energy, you feel more tired. Instead of clarity, you feel inflamed or stuck. Instead of progress, you feel disconnected from your body. If that's you, I want to say this right away. You're not failing at health. Your body's not broken. But today we're going to talk about why healthy routines can backfire and why real wellness is rooted in awareness, emotional safety, and spiritual connection, not more control. We've kind of been taught that wellness comes from discipline, and it does, but we have this expectation for more rules, more tracking, more restriction, more pushing through. But discipline without awareness often becomes just another form of stress on the body. And it doesn't heal because it's just being managed. True healing happens when your body feels safe, supported, and listened to. Real wellness isn't about mastering your body. It's truly about building a relationship with it. And when faith is part of the picture, that relationship includes remembering this. Your body is something God designed with intelligence and communication built in, not something that you have to overpower. And this was something that I struggled with for a really long time. I think that one of the most overlooked truths in women's health is this. Your body does not separate emotional experience from physical response. Stress isn't just mental. It actually impacts your hormones. And grief doesn't just stay in your heart. It shows up in digestion, immunity, and your cycles. And anxiety is not just in your head. It actually changes your blood sugar, inflammation, and your nutrient demand. So when women say, my labs are normal, but I feel awful, or my gut suddenly feels off, or my cycle changed and I don't know why, or even I feel stuck in my healing, often the missing question isn't what supplement do I need, it's what has my body been carrying that hasn't been acknowledged yet. Symptoms are truly messages that often we think that we can just out willpower. And this is where I kind of want to go deeper because This is the part that most influencer wellness never touches. Your body remembers what your mind learned to survive. Unprocessed grief, chronic stress, fear that never had space to be felt, trauma, big or small, that was never witnessed. These don't disappear just because you eat better or you follow a routine. They truly settle into the nervous system. They shape your hormone output, they influence digestion, inflammation, immune function, and obviously sleep. And often the body isn't just resisting healing, it's just protecting itself. So when we hear the word trauma, we often think of extreme events. But trauma can also look like years of being dismissed or not believed, carrying responsibility without support, living in constant vigilance, repeated loss, fear, or disappointment, or never feeling allowed to rest. And for many women, trauma shows up as a body that never feels safe enough to exhale. And a body in constant alert can't easily heal. And this is where a big shift happened for me personally. I didn't really realize how little margin I had in my life, or even how normal that actually felt. I was always going, always saying yes, always trying to please everyone and do things perfectly and responsibly. I didn't fully understand how stressed my body was until I changed my patterns. I read a devotion called Breathing Room, and it was truly a turning point for me. It helped me see how the pressure to be everything for everyone had truly shaped my nervous system and even my health. The Bible never celebrates exhaustion as faithfulness. I mean, Jesus rested, he withdrew, he said no. But so many women live as if rest has to be earned. And that constant striving quietly taxes the body. And when there's no breathing room, your cortisol stays elevated, your sleep suffers, digestion slows, your hormones struggle to regulate, and inflammation lingers. And breathing room doesn't mean doing nothing. It means leaving space for your body to downshift. And often, that space is what finally allows your body to heal. And this is where routines come back into the conversation. Routines can be grounding and supportive when they serve the body, not override it. When you push through exhaustion because it's, on the plan, or when you ignore hunger because, fasting is trending, or when you suppress emotions to stay productive, over time, the body learns that it won't be listened to. And when the body doesn't feel heard, it gets louder. I mean, how many times has it been you get sick at the worst possible time because you have so many things going on? Truly, that's when your symptoms escalate, when inflammation lingers, and tell me if you can relate to this, it's when you feel like you're doing everything right and getting nowhere. Most wellness culture rewards control, but honestly, what I've learned more recently is control is often a trauma response. Healing doesn't come from tightening your grip. It comes from safety, trust, and surrender. And obviously, that's where faith changes the conversation. When we invite God into the process, our posture shifts from fixing to listening, from striving to receiving, from fear to trust. And this understanding completely changed how I even viewed food. When I first started learning about nutrition and became a coach, I knew what to eat. Information wasn't the issue. I'm sure you can probably relate to that. We all know what we should be eating. But what I struggled with was the emotional side. I had this shame spiral when I didn't follow through, the cycle of trying to comfort myself with food and then feeling defeated for having done it. I read the book Full, Food, Jesus, and the Battle for Satisfaction, and it truly reframed this for me in a biblical way that I had never considered before. From the very beginning of Scripture, food is tied to temptation. Think Adam and Eve, Jesus in the wilderness. The enemy didn't tempt them with something evil. He tempted them with something good, but used it to bypass trust, dependence, and obedience. And what I realized is that for so many women, emotional eating isn't about true willpower. It's about unmet needs. Food becomes comfort, relief, control, distraction. So when we jump from diet plan to diet plan without actually addressing the emotional or spiritual hunger that's underneath, we can stay stuck in trying to fix behavior without healing the need driving it. And that's why, for most of us, at some point, our diets alone have backfired. They restrict the symptom without restoring the soul. True healing begins when food is no longer carrying the weight of the things it was never meant to hold. So I want to bring into this some awareness, because when we ask, what am I actually feeling? What does my body need today? Where have I learned to override myself? And what would it look like to let God meet me here? This awareness creates space for restoration, not just managing symptoms. So if you've been stuck in this doing more and not feeling great, I want to offer a few simple ways to take what I've talked about today and begin applying it, not as a rule, but more as an invitation. Number one, pay attention to resistance. Instead of asking, what's wrong with my body, try asking, where do I feel resistance right now? Maybe it's resistance to rest, slowing down, eating enough, or saying no. Resistance often points to the place where healing truly wants to begin. Number two, create one pocket of breathing room. Not a whole day, not a lifestyle overhaul, but just one pocket. Maybe it's 10 minutes with no plan, a walk without tracking, a meal without multitasking, a morning without immediately reaching for your phone. I know, I'm guilty of that myself. Every day I talk to women who, when asked about their stress levels, they will say that they're not stressed. But what I find is their body is just used to the amount of stress. So we need to give the body the evidence that rest is allowed. Number three, practice checking in before overriding. So before you push through, ask, am I tired or afraid to stop? Am I hungry or emotionally depleted? Am I being disciplined right now or disconnected? That pause alone begins to rebuild trust between you and your body. And obviously number four, which should probably be number one, bring God into the moment, not just the outcome. Instead of asking God to fix your body or cure you, try inviting him into the experience of it. God, what are you showing me here? What does safety look like today? What would trust feel like in this moment? I truly believe that healing deepens when God is present in the process, not just the result. And number five, notice what feels nourishing, not just healthy. Sometimes the most healing thing isn't what's optimal on paper, it's what actually restores you. a slower morning, a satisfying meal. Maybe it's a boundary or a nap without guilt. Your body responds to nourishment, not punishment. And if there's one thing that I hope this episode gives you, it's permission. Permission to stop fighting your body, to stop proving that you're disciplined. Permission to stop assuming that healing requires just more effort. Healing doesn't always begin with doing more. It often begins with listening more deeply. Listening to your body, your emotions, what God may be inviting you into beneath whatever's going on or your symptoms. You weren't designed to heal under pressure. You were designed to heal in relationship. And when awareness replaces control, when trust replaces striving, and when faith becomes part of the process, that's when real healing begins. Thanks for listening to Faith Over Pharma. If this helped cut through the noise, share it with a friend who always asks, do you think this actually works? And if you're ready to go deeper through immersive retreats, phototherapy, or the Rooted Reset, you'll find your next steps at susangladstein.com.
Thanks for listening.